What's up, guys? Today we are playing a game called Thanksgiving. It is by Hannah PS. And, let's just get started. Click bold text to reveal more text beneath. Click red text to eavesdrop. And green text to make a choice. You made a choice that navigated from the original page. Got it. Click gray text to make choices without moving. Make decisions that may stick with you. Click gray text to make choices that people will remember. Okay. Let's play. Back in high school, you skipped class to go to an auditorium, back in high school, you skipped a class to go to an aquarium with this guy from English. You never really talked to him after that. It didn't go so well. It went okay, but nothing special. You got on great and saw each other a lot. You liked him a lot. It stressed you out lying to him. Oh, okay, wait. You don't think about it all the time or anything. What? Wait, what? You don't think about it all the time or anything, but it was the first proper date you went on. Remember when you and him hooked under the stage while you were singing Remember when you hooked up under the stage while they were singing Les Mis and stomping above you? You hadn't thought of that for ages. All the stuff that happened after, that's what stick with you. But you didn't think about that. Think about now. You are 21. It's dark in here. 5 hours since Austin, and you're in open country. Occasional lit-up billboards blur past, advertising immigration lawyers and outlet stores and evangelical churches. You're in the passenger seat while Tommy drives. You okay, Casey? Not your real name, of course. It's the only one Dad's friends could pick out for your new ID. Now hearing it feels weird when you read a word too many times. What? His soft drawl jolts you out of your thoughts. Maybe it's better to pretend to be asleep. Oh, whoops. Okay. This game is hard. The passenger window rumbles against your shoulder. Tommy does that sort of sigh when he's worried. Lately, he's been doing that. It was his idea for you to come to his for Thanksgiving. You didn't really want to go, but he talked you around, and well, now you're on your way. Come on, Casey, it'll be great. Everyone wants to see you, especially Mom and Dad. They know it's tough for you this time of year with your parents and everything. Of course, you couldn't tell him about Dad being in jail and you changing your name, so you did what you do best. Spun him a line about your family situation. It only makes him worry about you more. Do we want to go? What? You're almost looking forward. You have no idea how to feel. Let's go with you didn't want to go, but he talked you around, and now you're on your way. Tommy draws to a halt at a gas station, and you wake up a little. There's a conversation about majors. He's in pre-med. You're going for philosophy. You're doing pretty well, and considering everything, you could be doing a lot worse. Okay. Chemistry, history, math. Let's do chemistry. Doing well, having some trouble. Let's do well. I never did well in chemistry as it was, so let's do well. After a while, Tommy's words blur with the quiet music, and you don't even have to pretend to be asleep. Tommy's climbing out of the car, and there's talking and laughing outside. You drag yourself out into the dimly lit drive. It's time to get that smile going. Tommy's climbing the car, and the sound of him protesting that he's okay, Dad, stop fussing. Yes, of course I'm eating right. Then a murmur from his mom saying she's desperate to meet you. Tommy's dad hugging him, his mom's peering through the dim light towards you. Casey, she calls out. Oh my word, come here and let me take a look at you. Your palms prickle. Come on, you used to be able to meet new people all the time. You should have done your homework before heading here. Casual like the aw shucks Casey thing Casey normally goes for with a polite Texan student. Well, sir and madam. Let's go, sir and madam. We're in Texas. You come forward to shake Miss Lewis's hand. Thank you so much for inviting me, Miss Lewis. She gives you this look. Uh-oh. Narrow and searching, did you do something wrong? Maybe you should have said something else. Maybe you're dressed wrong. Maybe she thinks you're not good enough for her son. Mr. Lewis finally releases Tommy. That's Officer Lewis to you, Casey, he says like it's a laughing joke. Officer Lewis. She's a cop. You messed up. Why didn't you never ask Tommy what his mom did for a living? Dad might have been arrested all the way across the country, but that doesn't mean the cops can't find you. You're never safe. You're so stupid. She's watching your face. Maybe she recognizes you. Everyone always said you look like Dad. Maybe she sees him in your eyes and the shape of your jaw. So how was the trip? Of course, you need to act normal. You can do this. For sure, the trip was great, or maybe it could have gone better. Okay. I got timed out on that answer, apparently. You can't get the words out. Tommy, how about you come help me with the bags, Christine says, still looking at you. Mr. Lewis booms jovially that you shouldn't have to drag things in and out the dark and starts to tear you indoors, but Christine's murmuring something to Tommy. Tommy, how about you come help me with the bags, Christine says, still looking at you. You wait a minute, listening while they haul bags out of the trunk. Is Casey okay, honey? Mom, don't get all... I'm not. There's just something about... Casey? Mr. Lewis is watching you now, and Christine and Tommy have gone quiet. Come on, kids, he says. Tommy does this yelp you've never heard him do and starts protesting that he's in college. He links arms with you as you trail indoors. The warm, bright light of indoors smells of coffee and something sweet cooking in the oven. Mr. Lewis shows you where everything is, and of course you must make yourself at home. Of course you must. A couple of minutes later, and Tommy follows, lacing his fingers with yours. We're a little tired, Dad. It was a long trip. A good-natured complaint from his parents. Part of you wants to go upstairs right now, even if you can't bury your head under a pillow and wait out the holiday. But what would Dad say if you didn't go downstairs and do your homework on this family? I'm gonna go upstairs. Flurry activity, trampling upstairs, downstairs, sorting out bedclothes. Finally, it's quiet. Tommy's room is small and partially packed up with stacks of boxes filling up half of it. The window is clear, and pictures and posters still line the wall next to the bed. Let's go with boxes. Flipping the lid of the nearest box reveals a stack of textbooks and notebooks with Tommy Lewis, teacher, Miss Graff, written in careful, rounded handwriting. The textbooks are high school level. You recognize one of them from when you and Dad were running an insurance scam in Port Isabel in 9th grade. Tommy laughs and leafs through the top notebook. Oh my gosh, look at this, he says, showing a series of pretty much incomprehensible notes in the margin of a page about the carbon cycle. Sorry about that. It ends with the friend writing, Look, Robin's looking at you, and Tommy's scribbling, shut up. His cheeks are slightly pink. That was a ridiculous crush, he says ruefully. He turns to contemplate the bed. It's a single with a pale yellow coverlet. They set up a mattress beside it along with a mountain of pillows. So, he's gesturing vaguely, you want the bed or the floor? I'm okay with whatever. You take off your shoes and perch on the edge of the bed. Getting changed feels odd, even though you've undressed in front of him hundreds of times. Once you're in, Tommy smiles up at you from the mattress. Mind if I come up? Being here is making you really edgy, so maybe it would help, but maybe you're not in the mood. Help. It's a squeeze to fit, but no more than what you've dealt with before. He's warm against you and puts an arm over your chest. It'll be great tomorrow, he says, his voice blurring and the breath on the back of your neck. Tomorrow. Your mind starts to wander, but with Tommy so warm beside you, it can't run too far. You sleep. Sleep. Doorbell. Crash. Get the door. The kids' high voices and stamp upstairs. Maybe you should get it on the mattress to look respectable, or maybe you want a little more rest. Rest. A cluster of kids stampedes in. Oh, sorry, says the boy at the front, looking anywhere but you. Then Tommy, squeals one of the smaller girls. She jumps up and down on his feet. Whoa, easy there, he groans before surfacing, looking ruffled but cheerful. The girl points at you. Who's that? Tommy grins. Well, maybe Casey can make the introductions. You haven't hung out with kids, but surely they're like adults. Be friendly and they'll like you, or maybe if you didn't form too many attachments here. Friendly. The name Casey is really starting to get on your nerves, but you smile and do the cheerful thing, asking about all other names, but you don't really pay attention. They file out. I wouldn't pay attention. Sorry about that, Tommy says. They're way too excitable. You dress and freshen up in the bathroom, and Tommy leads you to the breakfast room. So many people. Christine and Mr. Lewis, turns out his name is Jeff, bustle around serving coffee, and a big group of old folks clustered around Vera, Tommy's great aunt, and Tommy's cousin and his wife, Brandon and Angela, and a bunch of the kids here for the day to see the branch of the clan. One of the girls is busy dragging around Vera's retriever, who looks as long-suffering as any old dog in a room full of people. Coffee tastes sweet and sharp. Tommy's getting cooed over. He gently pulls you forward, and surely you can get over yourself. You're not even shy, really. You can deal with it, or you're just not up to it. You know what? Let's be brave. Let's get over ourselves. You get yourself into a position where the light can hit you right, and shake hands and grin like you've never have before. If you think of it like the jobs you used to do with Dad, then it's easier to think of the right thing to say. Easier to watch for tells. Vera and the great uncles and aunts certainly seem to like it, and Brandon and Angela nod attentively at what you're saying. While Brandon's getting coffee, Christine grabs his arm and mutters something to him. But maybe it's better to listen to Jeff, who's trying to get Tommy's attention. I hate to see you and Angela like this. Aunt Christine, let's just forget it for now, okay? But if I got a hold of that guy, there wouldn't be anything left of him to send to jail. Brandon shakes his head, catches your eye, and gives you a forced smile. You smile back, and Jeff claps his hands. You wave, and Jeff claps his hands. Let's wave. Now, Tommy, Jeff calls out, it would be great if you and Casey could help us at the grocery store. We'd love to get to know you better, Christine says, and her thin smile doesn't meet her eyes. There's no saying no, but you could act enthusiastic, or maybe it's not worth it. Let's be enthusiastic. We're trying to be nice to these people. Fine, okay, cheerful face. Jeff beams at you as if he really didn't care how you feel, but Christine, you can't tell what Christine is thinking, and you don't like to stare at her too hard, otherwise she might just pay you too much attention. Who are you kidding? You're going out with her son. Of course she's paying you attention. Maybe now you can make a good impression. In the car, Jeff asks you all sorts from the passenger seat as Christine silently drives. Surely he must know all this stuff from Tommy, but apparently hearing it from you is the done thing. Facts are okay. You met Tommy during orientation, when you got him as a roommate, at a party junior year, the campus grocery. Let's go with, got him as a roommate. And asked him out right away, were shy around him for ages, hooked up without even thinking about it. Though you don't tell Jeff. Asked around his friends to see what he thought of you. Shy around him for ages. But when it comes to options, it's hard to remember what you've said and what you haven't said to Tommy. Surely you've said to Tommy that the reason you chose chemistry is you want to follow in Mom's footsteps. You had an amazing high school teacher. You're going to make it your career. You've always loved it since you were little. Let's go with, you've always loved it since you were little. There. And surely he said he loves the woods, and you've said that you love the open country, prefer morning trips to the pool to see the dawn, prefer to sit in coffee shops, and that you enjoy curling up with a good book. That one's right. But let's see what the other options are. Never sit still, have always been interested in meteorology, curl up with a good book. But then he sometimes glances at you, and Jeff just carries on talking, so you can't get a moment to think. Eventually, you arrive. The grocery store is a low, long building on the edge of town, and the parking lot is packed with cars. Christine checks her watch and cuts Jeff off from his latest line of questioning. We're headed to the hardware store, you two, she says. Can you pick up the groceries? You've got cash? Once out of earshot, Tommy slings an arm around your shoulder. Sorry about Dad. He's just excited I'm bringing someone home. Hey, how did you sleep last night? You look a little distracted. Your mouth tastes a little dry from all the talking, but at least it's only him with you. You could be honest if you wanted, though maybe you don't. Let's be honest. You're not feeling so good, even after the comfort of Tommy keeping you warm, and Tommy's gotten really good at spotting that. You can't tell him why his police officer mom with her too knowing stare makes your vision prickle with static, but you can tell him it's weird being here, or that you hope to do okay in front of his family, but telling him about it won't fix it. Brushing it off and spinning a lie would make it easier. I hope I do okay. It relieves a bit of the tension in your chest. He rests his hand on the back of your neck a second before you head into the store. Tommy leads you around. All you need to do is follow with the cart and tick off everything on the list. Yams, marshmallow, bourbon for Vera, extra tinfoil for the turkey. Out of the corner of your eye, you check the newspaper stand in case any of Dad's old friends have been caught. Nothing yet. Every so often, Tommy pauses to say hi to old neighbors and does the introduction thing. You wave and ask how they're doing. You stay quiet while Tommy talks. Let's stay quiet. Eventually, you're at the checkout. Ahead of you is a middle-aged woman with a scraggy gray haircut having a quiet but heated disagreement with the teller. I'm sorry, ma'am, it's being refused. Oh my God, Tommy whispers. Is that Miss Lane from the ranch? Should I give her some of our money? She looks like she's in trouble. You've pulled this one 100 times. Surely you could tell if she's trying the same. Either way, Tommy's bound to take your advice whether you step in or ignore what's going on. I'm generally a person that ignores what's going on. Tommy shifts, but without joining you, he doesn't move. Eventually, Miss Lane pushes the groceries back into the cart, abandons it next to the door, and stalks out of the store. The teller gives the two of you a toothy smile. So sorry about that. May I help you with your groceries? Tommy's quiet as you pack the bags, and he pays. You head through the doors. Christine and Jeff wait for you outside bearing heavy bags. You get everything, Jeff calls? Aunt Vera's bourbon, right? Sure thing, Tommy says, a little out of spirits. He explains why Miss Lane's situation, voice is low. I'd just like to think someone would help if I was in that position. You could convince Tommy that you did the right thing or share his worries. I'm going to convince him. I honestly think I did the right thing. You point out to Tommy that she would have been embarrassed if you'd stepped in. You wouldn't want to make it worse for her. Quite right, Christine says. You'll find folks around here have a lot of pride, Casey. Good to know we are on the same page. Tommy shrugs and spends the journey back, looking out the window. Back at the house, the rest of the relatives are bustling downstairs. Jeff and Christine shoo you out of the kitchen, and the relatives descend on Tommy, demanding who he wants to spend time with. Laughing, he glances at you. What would you like to do, Casey? All eyes are on him. There's Tommy's great Aunt Vera, the kids, Brandon and Angela, or maybe he'd like some alone time. Vera sounds cool. Vera's the bourbon drinker. Let's talk to Vera. Vera looks delighted and claps her hands. Come out to the garden, then, she says imperiously. The retriever scrambles to his feet and leaps out the door as soon as it's open. You follow the rest of them, along with Tommy, into the garden. You pile out into the garden, and when the kids try to follow, Vera calls out, "No peeking. This is a secret operation." The secret operation involves aluminum and cardboard and saltpeter. We're making fireworks for after dinner, Vera says matter-of-factly. This looks so illegal, your dad would throw a fit if you were caught anywhere near. It's okay, Vera's got a license or something. Sure, Vera calls. I'm sure it's still good. She has ringleader written all over her and directs her cronies like a captain of a pirate ship or a mafia don. Casey, she says, bearing a bundle of cardboard, want to help out or play with the damn dog? Play with that damn dog. What if she eats the chemicals? Calls out a great uncle. Let's play with the dog. I don't want to mess with fireworks. Tommy trots up to the pile they've assembled. You know I'm not doing chemistry, he says. Nonsense, Vera says. Don't be so hard on yourself. The dog twitches towards the others. You're not really a dog person. You've never got to have one, but you love dogs. I love dogs. And you can play or hold on to her, unless you try your hands with the fireworks instead. Let's hold on to her. Her ears are soft and silky, and she sits at your feet, breathing wheezily. She lollops over to the bushes and starts digging vigorously in the flower bed. She's got a collar, so you could drag her back, or maybe you should just let her be. Let's drag her back. With another stick, you tempt her to trot out of the bushes, the flower bed forgotten. Tommy stands, shading his eyes against the sun. You okay, Casey? He calls. We're done here. They'll be great. He doesn't sound entirely convinced, but Vera claps him on the shoulder. Come and have some lemonade, she says. You need your strength. Vera and the others array themselves into wicker chairs on the porch. Tommy darts indoors to fetch more while you settle yourself on the floor. Vera takes a long sip of lemonade and smacks her lips. So where are you from, Casey? The questions start firing. Remembering the various stories you've told is hard when they're constantly talking over you. You're from Sweetwater, Santa Clara, Georgetown, Cedar Park, Avondale. Let's go with Avondale. And you love your chemistry course because you're passionate about it. You're for the challenge because it's important, because you're passionate about it. And your parents are... You gulp lemonade. Say something or not. Not. Beside you, Tommy shifts. Maybe about to say something. You mutter that you'd rather not talk about it. A river of consternation ripples through the group. Tommy stands abruptly, pulling you to your feet with him. Mom said we should check on the turkey, he says. In the kitchen, he clatters around with the hunched-shoulder look that's the closest he comes to fury. They shouldn't have been asking you about that stuff. I'm really sorry. His sigh is sharp and irritated. But anyway. He mutters something about how rude his relatives are, and then closes the oven door with much more force than is strictly necessary. I don't know what to say when Aunt Vera gets like that. I feel like I'm about 4 years old. Smoothing things over would encourage him to leave it behind, but maybe you're still a little shaken from the parent question. He's your boyfriend, after all. So shouldn't he have spoken up? No, he shouldn't have. Smoothing things over is good. You pull Tommy into a hug. He feels warm and solid, and when he draws back, he gives you a shy smile that smooths out his faint frown. Thanks, he said. Thanks, he says. I need to get over myself. Movement from upstairs in the dining room. Tommy squeezes your shoulder a moment before Jeff bustles into the kitchen. Lunchtime, he bellows, and the family begin to troop in. The turkey smell is overwhelming throughout the house. Even the enchilada you scavenge from the kitchen tastes of it. Cheese, sandwich, cup of coffee. Let's have coffee. Oh, whoa. Cheese, sandwich, cup of coffee, chicken salad, spaghetti, bread and spaghetti hoops. Take out leftovers. That's what's in my fridge. Tommy leans against the kitchen island and watches you while he eats a salad sandwich. Aunt Vera glances approvingly at you every so often and gets one of the kids to pour several glasses of lemonade. The children are mostly occupied amongst themselves, though they sometimes look over at you and giggle. Brandon and Angela come sit with their daughter Leah, playing some kind of complicated game. Christine dips a serving spoon into a simmering pan of pumpkin soup and advances on you with it. Taste, or would you like to try, Tommy? I'll try pumpkin soup. Nearly burdens your tongue, but the taste is sweet and spicy. Tommy just loves that soup, Christine says. What's your comfort food, Casey? Did your parents make anything special when you were little? Did they? Well, oh, God. Burger and fries. Good to know. I didn't even read the text. I just knew I was timed, so I just picked something. I know it was burger and fries. Christine says. Good to know in case you visit again. It's hard to tell if she's keen on the idea. Lunch is starting to draw to a close. Aunt Vera and the cluster of her companions are busy sorting out their schedules for the winter. There's Brad and Angela looking after the kids, and Jeff and Christine invite you to hang out with them while they cook. I'm interested in Brad and Angela. Brandon gives you a big white smile. That would be just great, he says. Casey and Tommy can come for coffee with us, right? Angela, we can get out of Jeff and Christine's hair. Angela takes you by the elbow. Come on, I know this gorgeous little place just out of town. It's more of a diner than a cafe in the warm air, in the warm outside air. You can taste burgers and fries. You haven't been having much of the finer things in life lately, and you miss them a little. Yeah, I miss them. You and Tommy follow Brandon and Angela to the till. Coffees are ordered, and then there's a quiet conversation between them as they hesitate. Let's read it. I'm sure we can manage it, Angela whispers. Do you think so? Brandon murmurs back. Tommy shoulders forward. I can pay, he says. Seriously, can it be my treat? Brandon's back stiffens. Oh no, we couldn't. Pride and money go together too well. You pretend to connect them before, but you've never felt it. You could offer to pay or let Brandon and Angela deal with it and save face. Offer to pay. Oh, Angela says, not sounding entirely pleased. Tommy scoops up the tray of coffees and saunters over to a booth next to the window. Thanks for doing that, he whispers. They've been having trouble. They settle in the booth opposite you and Tommy. Brandon leans forwards on his elbows. So, Casey, Tommy better be treating you right or I'll have something to say with him. Tommy's ears flush pink and he groans, Brandon, I mean it. Tommy's like the little brother I never had. So I've got to embarrass him whenever I can. Angie, you remember that girlfriend of his in high school? What was her name? Panda Eyes, Angela tells him helpfully. And junior year, he told her, Brandon stuffs his hand in his mouth to stifle laughter. He told her, he pauses to snort, and you've got enough time to stop him if you want, but then this is a story you haven't heard, so maybe you want to hear it. I want to hear it. He told her they shouldn't stay together because they needed to focus on schoolwork, Angela says triumphantly. Brandon pinches Tommy's cheek. Did she really not have schoolwork on her mind? Trust me. You remember that boyfriend of his senior year? Angela taps the rim of her coffee cup with a sugar spoon, double denim guy. Tommy's protesting it, laughing all at once, and he looks at you so comfortable that it's disconcerting for a moment. So, Brandon says, turning his attention to you. You're from Texas too, right? Wrong, but Casey's from here, so you chat about it, what it was like growing up in Georgetown. You didn't grow up in Georgetown. Avondale, and how you enjoy being at college. You mentioned studying... Oh, you mentioned you're studying chemistry because you always loved it since you were little, and Brendan leans forward. It's pretty heavy. I did it, he says, starting to tell you about his roommate once played an elaborate prank on the LRA. Tommy butts in to tell another story about Brandon getting stuck up a tree while they were little. He's getting to the bit where Brandon started crying when you're interrupted. A besuited man with salt and pepper hair and thin-rimmed glasses approaches the booth. May have a moment of your time. He doesn't wait for an answer, just embarks on a spiel about a new investment enterprise that's taking Texas by storm, and hundreds of folks in town have already been making big bucks with, and he's such an obvious sleaze. It's so much worse than you and Dad were, even on your bad days. What's he thinking, approaching people on Thanksgiving? Brandon and Angela both look extremely tense and aren't telling him to leave them the hell alone. But you can get rid of him, play along, and put him off, or just square up and make him leave. Goodbye. It's a burst of bright energy. He's not expecting it, and you've got your hands clenched on his lapels, and you hiss right in his face to leave these good people alone. He wrenches backwards and dusts his own jacket, but his gaze darts to the waitress making her way over as he scurries out of the diner. Brandon lets out a whoosh of breath and gives a shaky laugh. You're seriously scary, he says. Tommy, you've got a good one here. Resting on the table, Angela's fist tightens. I cannot stand men like that, she says. She draws a shaky breath. We wanted to tell you before, she says, more to Tommy than to you. But Jeff and Christine didn't want you distracted from the sophomore exams, so we got stung by an insurance guy like him. Honey, Brandon says, putting her arm around her, you don't have to go into it. She can go into it if she likes, Tommy points out, stirring his coffee first one way, then the other. Fake insurance guys are a dime a dozen. But part of you's curious, even if you hadn't run at something in a while. Maybe it's too dangerous to draw attention. Dad wouldn't have liked this. It's getting too close to home. Too dangerous. Smoothly as you can, you change the subject back to asking about their kid, and Brandon gratefully grabs at the chance to talk about something else. Coffee done, you suggest it's time to leave. Back at the house, the rest of the relatives are getting together for dinner. Brandon asks you to help set the table, and Jeff says you're the guest of honor and shouldn't have to do anything. The table lies before you. Do you wait until Tommy's sitting, or take a seat? Wait. You stand at the edge of the table, trying to look like you're about to sit down while waiting for Tommy to finish setting out napkins and warm plates. He meets your eye and gives you a small smile, and probably realized what you were doing because he lays his hands on his chair and announced, Me and Casey are going in here. Dad, can you grab a couple of glasses? You want a beer, Jeff calls. You don't normally drink alcohol. Too little control, but maybe going along with what Jeff wants you to do would be the thing. You ask for soda, and Tommy clinks glasses with you. Beer. Soda. Water. Water. Is that my only three options? Beer, soda, water. Wine. Juice. Cider. Pepsi. Soda. Beer. Water. Let's go with water. The table's ready. Before you lies a feast. Green beans, mashed yam, sweet potato casserole with pecan topping, cornbread, pumpkin soup, glazed carrots, mashed potatoes, squash soup. Bet you've never had a spread like this, Casey, Jeff booms. You haven't. Vera and the other great aunts and uncles have clustered together and are having a chat about the sunset over Las Vegas. The rest of the kids have been packed off to their parents' dinner. Layla's still there, sitting between Brandon and Angela, surreptitiously feeding the dog bread sticks. Christine bears down, carrying the huge turkey and carbs. What did you do for Thanksgiving over in Avondale, Casey? Vera asks as she reaches for the green bean casserole. Thanksgiving ritual feels odd, so you try to keep it generic. Luckily, Angela starts talking about her friend's friend who had a great time in Avondale one time and distracts Vera from her interrogation. The talk surges on. Dessert is a vast apple pie with ice cream, and the table's even louder. Brandon's had a few glasses of wine and has got to the stabbing finger for emphasis stage. He turns a wobbly gaze on you. So what we've all been wondering, Casey, is if you ever want kids. Christine leans forward, resting her chin on her hand and eyeing the two of you. Tommy grips your arm tight but says nothing. Vera gives a steady bear over her glass, but then gives Brandon a severe look. You can't go around asking people that over the dinner table, he says. Severely, Tommy snorts quietly. Anyway, you didn't answer the question. How do you even begin? Yes, and Tommy might think you're coming on too strong. No, and he might be disappointed. Maybe, and you look like you're scared of commitment. And you're not scared of that, except you are. Okay, hold on. Let me click all the black. Tommy might think you're coming on too strong. How could you even be a parent anyway? No, he might be disappointed. He signed you're not right altogether. Maybe, and you look like you're scared of commitment, and you're not scared of that exactly, except you are. Well, yeah, I want kids, so yes. The words stick in your throat worse than usual, and your fork clinks against your plate. Tommy nudges his foot against yours under the table. Well, Jeff says, I think it's great that you're studying something that you're passionate about, especially if you've always wanted to do it. I think that's great. Marvelous. Vera says, nodding with approval. Jeff beams. Now, how about we have a toast? Casey, why don't you do the honors? Last time you made a toast was in this weird family conference when you and Dad were pulling a job on a CEO. Here's to family, Thanksgiving, honesty, gratitude, love, hospitality, family, Thanksgiving. Here's to Thanksgiving. You lift your water and the others around the table join in. To Thanksgiving. Applause and stamping. Tommy throws his arm around your shoulders. Vera rises. Now we've got a surprise for y'all, she said. Time for the fireworks. Outside, darkness has fallen. Vera and the other grandparents start setting up in the garden while Tommy leans against you on the porch. The fireworks burst and spark in colors that burn when you blink. Layla squeals with delight at each explosion. You stand outside a little while, feeling the air on your skin until Christine decrees that you should head inside to bed. Wait a minute, Tommy. Christine calls, can you help me in the kitchen? He gives you an apologetic grimace and goes along. There are murmurs behind the door, and maybe it would be better to just go upstairs, but Dad would be so angry if you missed out on listening. Christine. Tommy, I've tried so hard to make nice for the holiday, but I'm really not sure about Casey. There's something going on there. I've seen a lot of kids who've been involved in bad things, and I'm sure Casey is one of them. Aside from Tommy. Mom, you just don't get it. Trust me, I know what I'm doing. Footsteps toward the door, and he emerges. Oh. Were you listening at the door? He shakes his head sharply. Never mind. Come on, let's go up. And here you are once more in this small, cozy room by an now lit by an orange-tinged bedside lamp. Tommy turns to watch you. It's been a day, hasn't it? He gives you a rueful smile as if you know what it's like to have a tiring day at Thanksgiving. Thank you, I like you, Casey. I really do. I hope coming here was better than staying in the dorm room. Maybe it would have been better to stay there alone. He steps closer. Tommy lays his hand carefully on her shoulder. He has that warm look in his eyes. We should sleep, he says, voice soft. Somewhere along the line, you're going to hurt him. Whether you kiss him or step back, it's who you are. I'm going to kiss him. You're kissing for a moment, then Tommy pulls back. It's kind of weird to do this in the house, he whispers. Silence between you, and the room is dark. Casey, he says, tasting your false name. I know there's something wrong. Maybe someday we can talk about it. There's this thing where normal people want to talk about things, but what would you talk about? About you carrying this fake name around about you carrying this fake name around when so little he knows of you is true? No. Tell him the truth and his mom will know who you are. He'll know you're not to be trusted. You cannot do that. You try to slow your breathing. You just need to keep it together. You can do that. You can. Ending 104, keeping it together. You survived Thanksgiving dinner. Tommy still likes you a lot. You kept your story straight and didn't get caught in a lie. Not bad for a family gathering. All right, so with that, I hope you all have a very happy Thanksgiving if you are from the States. And if you are not, I just hope you have a great day in general. And maybe we'll play this again. Maybe we won't. I don't know. But if you like what you saw, please like, comment, subscribe down below, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!